Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's day 1 of working on packet number 5. Oh yeah. I'm heading off to the coffee shop today to work on chapter 25, which is the finale. I am going to work on these chapters a little bit out of order because there's some of them that I understand clearer than others. I'm really excited to see how it all wraps up. This vlog doesn't end until I write the very last words of my book. Let's jump in! I've been thinking about pretty much nothing except for my story for the last 24 hours. And last night, as I was getting ready for bed, I just had this series of epiphanies, one after the other. I was so entrenched in the mood of the story and the finale and all the emotions of the scene. I started writing one of the scenes I'd been having trouble with, and it just flowed out of me, and then it just kind of kept going, and I did a dump. It's all things that I knew were gonna happen, but I was just feeling it so strongly last night, and I could picture it all so clearly, and it just poured out of me onto this page. So I just started typing up all these notes and ended up writing the second to last chapter almost in its entirety, which was a pretty short one, but I just felt like I got a sudden clear vision of what the scene should be. And so this was a really cool writing day just because I felt like a lot of the different pieces of the ending just kind of fell into place all at once. And it was all just because I was listening to my angsty songs and really getting in the mood, the emotion of the moment. And guys, such a powerful ending. If you'd asked me a few days ago, I would have told you I was worried about writing the ending. I was worried about whether I could pull it all together, but after last night, I just feel beyond excited to see it all come together. I could feel what the reader will feel when they finish the book, and it was just so heartbreaking and so beautiful and poignant. This book is just absolutely becoming everything I hoped it would be. Oh my gosh, so good writing day today, and wow, everything just kind of came into place. This week, my goal is to write at least one of the 2 finale scenes, both of which are heavily outlined, but I need to just draw them all together and kind of fill in the gaps and make it into an actual scene. So last night, my husband sometimes has to work kind of later hours if he's in a particularly busy season at work. So out of solidarity, I was staying up with him last night, and I found such wonderful angsty music. And there was this one, I was just thinking over the finale and stuff, and I kind of did a giant brain dump of the whole scene, and I think I got it. I think I figured it out. There were some parts of it that just didn't make sense before, but I think last night I got it. I think I got it. So today what I did was I pretty much typed that up and kind of merged it with the outline I already had and started writing it. So I think I'm a pretty good chunk of the way through. I probably need 1 or 2 more writing days to get it done because I really want to nail this scene. So much of the book has been leading up to this moment, and I want to make sure it's exactly right. But just in terms of the back and forth, the I guess for lack of a better word, the flow of the scene, I feel like I understand now. So it's a little bit more established. Anyway, that's super exciting. The coffee shop closed again, per usual, so I'm gonna head home now and try to get the rest of the work done. It's really sinking in now. I still have several chapters to go, but I can feel the ending so close. I can imagine what it'll be like to hold the whole thing in my hand and have it complete, and that's just kind of keeping me going right now. I'm so close. I'm so close. Today, what I did was I rewrote chapter 26, which is the second to last chapter of the book at the moment. This one's kind of fun because something is revealed that was formerly hidden for most of the book. It's kind of a last final plot twist to wrap the book out with. It's almost done, which is awesome. It feels so good to have at least one of the chapters almost done. Sometimes I do this where I'll write the beginning of the scene and the end of the scene, and then the middle or any parts that I'm kind of struggling with, I'll just outline and kind of leave blank, but I need to go back in and kind of stitch the 2 halves together, and it really will just take a couple paragraphs, but it was for some reason just really not coming to me. I felt really fragmented this week, and I don't know if it's because of the pressure of the deadline coming up or just feeling intimidated by the idea of wrapping all these chapters together, but it's been so hard to pull everything together. Anyway, I don't know, I'm just kind of having a hard week. Next week I do have off work. I'm hoping I can just write every single day and try to get the rest of it figured out. And I need to review the thesis and turn that into my advisor along with all this new work as well. So all in all, it's kind of crazy. It's a little bit overwhelming, but I'm just hoping I can get a lot done next week. That's the goal. my word, you guys. Okay, so it's been a really good writing day. It's actually been a really good writing week. I've been working on the finale chapter, the very climactic moment. Yesterday and today, I just was hammering away at it, and I really had a breakthrough, which feels amazing because I was so worried about this chapter and it felt so bland to me, but it's slowly coming together and I've got 90% of it down. So I'm just gonna, I know it's a little silly, but I do have my fold out chair in the back of the car. And sometimes what I've been doing is when I get kicked out of the coffee shop after they close, I'll just go sit at a park, camp out in the back of my car with my little fold out chair, and I'll just keep writing until I get the scene done. Cause sometimes it's just so hard to I don't want to wake up out of the world. Take advantage of it while I can, you know? So anyway, so chapter 25 is what I've been working on, and it's really, really coming together. I'm so excited about it. I think I've got no, it must be 8 days until the deadline now. I still have this chapter to wrap up and then 3 more afterwards. So when I think about it that way, I feel nervous, but I'm putting a lot of work into it this week, and I've got a lot of time to work on it. I've just been super excited with my progress so far, so I think I'm gonna be okay. I think I can make it. It's just gonna be I might pull some late nights, but I really think I can do it. Okay, hello, howdy everybody. So, what am I saying? What am I doing? I don't know. We've reached the part of the show where a notebook is absolutely crucial. Today marks 6 days until my very last packet of the entire semester is due. How am I feeling, you might ask? Not great. Not great at all. I'm keeping my head above water, which is the important part here. Today I worked on chapter 26, which is right after the finale, kind of the recovering chapter. You know, the storm has kind of passed and we're now trying to resolve things. Worked a good deal on that today. I actually feel very close to finishing it. And I also had an idea for how to handle the last chapter as well. All of this to say, I don't think I'm going to die. I think we're going to be okay. I think I just need to work like crazy for the next 6 days, but I think I can do it. I'm still so close, and I really, really want to finish it. This notebook has been a lifesaver for me. If I'm really in a rut with writing, the mere act of changing from a computer keyboard to writing by hand in a notebook, somehow it just jars things to life. I feel like I'm always writing better when I write by hand. So sometimes it's helpful for me to just draft scenes in my notebook and then later type it up into Scrivener. So the current plan is I'm gonna go meet my sister for a quick walk on the beach, and then I'm gonna go straight home and just keep working for the rest of the afternoon. Okay, so just wanted to jump on here because I had such a breakthrough today. I feel so much better. Since I talked to you last, I went on a quick walk with my sister, and just talking through the story with her, I felt like I really uncovered a pivotal part of the ending that I was kind of on the verge of understanding but hadn't quite articulated yet. So I've just been working on it ever since, all afternoon and into the evening, and it's about like 8 o'clock now, I think. So I basically have like 2 updates now. First of all, I have 1 more chapter than I expected. So instead of turning in 5 chapters to my advisor, I'm actually turning in 6. But the other part of that news is that 4 of them are done now. So I just have the beginning and the last scene to write, and then I'm done. Yeah, it was like a super awesome breakthrough today, because literally yesterday I was talking to my husband and I was all stressed and worried about whether I was going to be able to do it all. And now I still feel like it's going to be a lot, but I know I can do it. I feel like everything just kind of came into place today, so it's so good. It's so good. Is it possible to feel incredible and also really stressed at the same time? Because that's kind of where I am. Basically, my very last packet is due in 3 days. And weirdly enough, I don't feel horrible about it. This morning I was really stressed. I got to the coffee shop, and my goal today was to write the entirety of chapter 24. Like, I had a pretty thick outline, but it was basically writing the entire thing from start to finish. I just got about 90% of the way through by the time the coffee shop closed, which feels amazing because this was the chapter I was most worried about, and I felt like I didn't have enough time to do. But yeah, I just totally whipped it out and I feel amazing. I'm gonna try to whip out the rest of this chapter, and then I might even try to dive into chapter 28, the very last one, just to see if I can, because anything I do today is just gonna make tomorrow and the next day easier. So kind of my plan at this point is try to finish chapter 24 today, write 28 tomorrow, and then that leaves me 1 more day, Wednesday, to reread my thesis, which is the first 100 pages, and make any edits there. And then I'll also need to reread chapters 24 through 28 that I'm turning into my advisor, and just kind of do like a proof read through, do some copy edits, and then turn that in. So that's the week ahead. Basically, this is the writing marathon we've all been waiting for. So buckle up. grab a cup of tea, let's get down to business. Hey guys, so today marks 2 days until the packet deadline. I just got home from work. I really need to get this last chapter written, so I'm actually gonna go out into the backyard. It's a really pretty day, and I'm just gonna bring my notebook, kind of my outline for the chapter, and I'm just gonna do my best to write as much of it as possible back there. That's my plan for now. Well, you guys, I just wrote the very last chapter of Project Amaranth. I thought I'd have like more to say right now, but I kind of don't. I love it when I can see like a version of the manuscript all marked up and scribbled over, lines crossed out and little words jotted in here and there. What I wrote just now is a really rough version of the last chapter, so tonight what I plan to do is type up the whole thing and kind of smooth out any of the tangles and snarls in the prose, make sure it flows more smoothly. Yeah, I'm excited to see it kind of take its final shape. Just thinking over, you know, the chapters that I'm going to print out tonight, I think there's a couple gaps in a few of the chapters, things I need to go fill in, but really, I did it. I wrote the entire last 5 chapters in like the span of 3 weeks or something crazy. So now, having said that, I know my advisor's probably not going to love the writing in this, but I know she'll have a lot of grace for the fact that I did it under a deadline, and I definitely intend to go back over it and rewrite most of it. But there is something so satisfying about finally coming to the end, seeing things come full circle, watching the story kind of unveil itself in ways that I hadn't even expected. It's just all part of the magic of writing, and it's really cool to see. All right, friends, everybody buckle up, because today marks 1 day until my packet is dead. I have printed out the very last 5 chapters of my book, and then in addition to that, I also printed out the first 100 pages of what will be my thesis, so the first 7 chapters of the book. So today I need to do a serious deep dive read through of the last 5 chapters and do like a really thorough edit of all of those, because they're in really rough shape right now and I want them to be, I just really want to smooth them out before I turn them into my advisor. But then in addition to that, I also need to read through the first 100 pages. That's going to be my thesis. Basically, I only have until tomorrow to do any big edits. I think after that I still have about 2 weeks to kind of do a read through and tweak any, you know, words here or there, but really the majority of it needs to be done by tomorrow. So yeah, priority 1, read through the last 5 chapters and edit those. Priority 2 is read through my thesis and get that into shape. And then if I still have time left over after that when I get home, I'd love to work on book annotations tonight. I've got a stack of 4 to 5 books that I need to make, you know, short paragraph long reviews for. So that's the day that's ahead. I am just hoping against hope that I feel divinely inspired today and get all kinds of work done. Because there's just so much to do by tomorrow and I am so tired. Okay, one thing I did not factor in while reading today was how emotionally devastating it would be to read the 5 most emotional chapters all in one go. This little bit of pages is deceptively heartbreaking. I made it through 4 of the 5 chapters in proof edits and I ripped them apart. So many changes, filled in a lot of the blank gaps that I had for certain scenes. I need to go home and I need to proof the very last chapter, but then I need to go through and make all these edits in Scrivener, and then I'll print out another version to read through and finalize tomorrow morning, just one last go around. As I was reading through these chapters today, I was making notes kind of on the side of things I wanted to mention to my advisor and questions I had for her, so that was kind of a helpful way to go about it. Because of the deadline, the writing isn't quite what I want it to be, but the story is absolutely beautiful and heartbreaking, and just like, it's a really cool feeling as a writer to read back over stuff you've written and find that even you are caught up in like the spell that the words cast, and to be so carried along by the story that you still feel it emotionally by the time you, I don't know if any of that's making sense, but that was like a really unexpectedly cool part of reading it back over again. Yeah, home we go. Let's go edit the last chapter now. You know what? It's actually kind of crazy how much an impending threat of a deadline will unleash the floodgates of inspiration. This is my 4th cup of tea today, and it's actually gone cold because I forgot it existed. And if you can hear that annoying car alarm in the background, that's because my neighbor's car randomly set off its alarm about an hour and a half ago and has just been going ever since. This is future Olivia piping in here to say that it was not the neighbor's car. Anyway, after getting home from the coffee shop today, I have been faithfully chained to my desk for approximately the last 3 hours, typing up all the notes that I made to 4 of the last 5 chapters. I've got 1 left to type up, the very last one. Oh my gosh, I think it stopped. I am just feeling really excited for my advisor to read these chapters because she's been with me since the start of this book, and in a lot of ways she's been my first reader. It's kind of cool that she's going to be the first person to read the ending too. There's still kind of a lot to do before tomorrow, but mainly at this point it's just finalizing any big changes to my thesis and doing like book annotations. But everything this week has gone pretty much entirely like best case scenario. I feel like I wrote the chapters when I needed to. I am exactly where I need to be to finish on time tomorrow, and yeah, I'm feeling really good actually. The magnitude of it hasn't quite sunk in yet that I'm writing the very last chapters of my book, because this has been, I kind of started this iteration of the book when I started the MFA program almost 2 years ago. So this has been 2 years in the making, 10 years in the making if you count all the drafts that have come before this one. So it still feels like just another packet deadline, you know? Man, I'm pretty excited tomorrow to submit it and then have this huge weight be lifted off of me, like knowing that I gave it my very best, that I turned in everything I wanted to, and then I made it through the entire way through the book. Like, wow, that's pretty crazy. So I'm gonna wrap up this chapter and probably go make dinner, take a break for a while, and then come back at it and start working my way through the thesis. So crazy. Anyway, cheers. Okay, so just so you know, I did have every intention of sitting down this morning and kind of explaining my whole game plan for this packet. However, I have learned about myself that I have a regrettable tendency to overestimate how much I can get done in any given amount of time, which means I'm generally pretty late for everything. Somehow it didn't occur to me that doing like 150 pages of editing in a single morning was going to be difficult. Red alert. So here we are. I just turned in my packet. I didn't end up making that many changes to my thesis. Most of it I was pretty happy with, but I did end up proofreading and making a lot of changes to the last 5 chapters of the book. There were just a lot of rough spots I needed to smooth out. So now the packet is done. I submitted it. I think I kind of feel relieved. I think the closer I'm getting to the end of the MFA, the more ready I am to be done. I think this program has been absolutely incredible in shaping my ability to write, in shaping my routine and my discipline as a writer. However, I'm really excited to be able to write and take time with things again, you know, like really steep in a chapter and make sure it's everything I want it to be before I move on to the next one. I think generally writing for deadlines is useful when you want to churn things out, but not when you want to refine it and make it as good as it can be. So just for the writing and then also reading really long books again, I was thinking about this as I was working on the annotations this morning, that it's kind of frustrating having to like scour through books just to find techniques for writing. It kind of steals like the joy of it. So as useful as that is for a time, I'm looking forward to kind of going back into the rhythm of reading books for fun again and remembering how it felt to just be swept away in imagination to different worlds. Anyway, I think that's kind of my muddled up thoughts at the moment about wrapping up the MFA program. And I know I have said this for every single packet, but I'm really, really excited to see what my advisor thinks of these chapters, because so much goes down in the last 5 chapters, and I felt really moved writing it, and I felt like it was a really powerful ending. I'm hoping that translates through the actual thing that I wrote. I think did, but it'll just be fun. You know, it'll be fun to talk about the ending and where it could go from here, and kind of being able to have a first reader see the entire shape of the story in a way that nobody but myself and maybe my sister have seen before. Can't quite wrap my head around the fact that this is the end, you know? It just feels like I haven't really let myself slow down. I want to clean up my space. I want to like put all these papers and books away, just like get some clear surfaces in this room again. That would be nice. Probably I'll do like a good old journal like planning session this afternoon. That would feel really good. I'd love to have like a game plan and get all my thoughts down on paper about what's next for this book and where we're headed from here. So cheers to a chill and relaxing weekend ahead, and then I will check in with you guys as soon as I hear back from my advisor. All right, you guys, I just got back my response from my advisor for my very last packet. So I'm gonna open it up with you and we're gonna see what she thought. For some reason, I feel really nervous right now. Maybe it's just knowing, like, she's the only person who's ever read the ending of this book. So I'm really hoping she loves it. I'm also really nervous because I know the writing was really rushed. Oh, I don't know what to expect. Okay, here we go. Okay, so she said it was actually better written than the last packet I sent her. So if you'll remember in the last packet, she kind of pointed out that she could see signs of hasty composition. She said that wasn't as much the case this time. So that's a good start. So, she said, for the finale of the past story, basically one of the central characters, I don't quite understand their motivation yet. There's kind of a massive plot hole right in the middle of the finale at the moment that I need to figure out an answer to. So she said, oh, okay. So she actually had a suggestion for a certain scene that might help the build up better to make that make more sense. Something, I don't know. She said basically any solution I come up with is going to require rewriting of the scene, and I kind of knew that. That's fine. But she also said it's like she considers it one of the fun parts of writing, and she actually really loves this kind of problem. So we're probably going to brainstorm that a lot on our phone call next week. During the finale of the present plot line, I did switch point of views, and I was a little worried about it, but she said it's fine, so that's good. Oh, okay. So I was asking her if she was making these certain connections that I wanted the reader to be making. She said no. And that's partly because she is reading this over the course of many months. So she's getting a new packet installment maybe every 3 or 4 weeks. So she said basically, don't be too heavy-handed about it. If you want your readers to be making connections, that's going to happen a lot more naturally when they're binge reading it over the course of like 2 or 3 days. But she said it would be helpful maybe there's certain spots in the book where you can just kind of whisper associations a little bit more closely so that the reader does end up kind of coming to the conclusions you want them to come to. Yeah. Oh man. Okay. Okay, she really did not like something I did in chapter 27, yeah. I guess so in one of the final chapters there is kind of a reveal of something that happened earlier that you didn't know about. She said it didn't work, and she said why, which is really helpful. So basically that scene, she said, I need to do something completely different. She also said in the very last chapter there's a scene that's missing that's really important between a couple characters to kind of close everything out, you know? Okay, so ending, good. She liked it. She basically pointed out, like, I had a feeling that something wasn't completely clicking, and she basically was able to just isolate out certain things that needed to be resolved or changed completely. I feel a little weird about it because it is like that crucial scene at the end she said didn't work is kind of like a big part of how I imagined the story happening. So the fact that she didn't like it feels a little rough for me because, like, I agree that I don't think I did it well in terms of the way it actually, in the play out of the actual scene. I feel like if it's not working, it's not working because I didn't write it the right way, not because it's not the right ending of the book. In her email, she said, I hate and love the feeling I have as I come to the end of a great book. Can't believe it's over, want it to go on. All in all, I feel really encouraged by this. I think she basically just nailed out certain things that I kind of felt weren't working but wasn't sure why, and I feel like she explained it really well. At least I know what to focus on now, and as I go into draft 5, I'll have a vision of the entire story beginning to end, and as I do revision through it all, I can make it consistent, and I can kind of move things around and rearrange to make it flow better. I'm gonna pull up all of her comments and kind of read through those next and see more of like on a line by line basis what she thought of all the final chapters. So with all that said, I'm gonna close out this last vlog here. So you guys have been amazing. Thank you so much for watching all of these writing diaries and for being part of this whole journey with me. I definitely intend to keep up this vlog series as I revise draft 5 and beyond, so stick around for that. For now, thank you for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. And my question for you today is, I would love to know, what is the best ending of a book that you've ever read? Comment that down below. I would love to add some of those to my reading list. And with all that said, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.